All right, today on The Art of Plating, we're taking you back to childhood with these comfort food classics. We're gonna do a burger reimagined. We're gonna do some little Mediterranean inspired feta infused sliders with a little harissa paste on the top. And then we're gonna roll into the stuff that dreams are made of. Nothing better than a warm bowl of peach crumble. We're gonna serve it with a cognac caramel sauce. And that's it. That's all you need in life right there. You're good. All right, today on The Art of Plating, we're gonna go with some comfort food. We're gonna do some nice little mini sliders. And then we're gonna wrap it up with a little peach and raspberry crumble. Comfort food at its best. All right, so we have some onions here that we've just caramelized in a pot. Just nothing but red onion, sliced, chopped, cooked down for a bit. And we're gonna finish them out with a little balsamic vinegar. We've got the balsamic in there and we have the onions that we caramelized. And essentially we're making a balsamic reduction. There just happens to be onions in there with it. All right, let's make some sliders. So we've got just a half a pound of 80/20 ground beef here. Wanted to have a little fat content in there. Some feta and some harissa paste. And we made this by roasting some red bell peppers, some Fresno, shallot, garlic, mint, and basil. We added a little caraway seed as well. And that's it. We're just gonna mix it up. Use your hands. All right, so now this is well incorporated. We're just gonna make some little patties. Gonna make them a little concave in the middle, so when they puff out, it'll be nice and evenly spaced. That balsamic is reducing away. So by adding the feta, it's gonna be nice and creamy, fatty, all those good things that we want in a burger. It's not gonna dry out as easily. And the harissa is just, flavor. All right, we're all washed up, ready to go. We're gonna add just a little salt, fresh cracked pepper. Both sides need some love there. All right, the balsamic caramelized onions are done. We're gonna pull it off to the side, let it hang out. That took literally 3 minutes. All right, we've got our pan heating up. We're just gonna pan fry these things right here in our saute pan. We know we're ready to go when the oil streaks across the pan, creates legs, kind of similar to what you would see looking at a red wine glass tilted on its side. You've got those just little streaks running through the pan. And that's how you know it's ready. We've got our patties seasoned, salt, pepper, the feta, the harissa. All right, let's check out our onions here. We're gonna give these a few more seconds. We're gonna finish these in the pan, and when we come back, we're gonna pull it all together, show you our plating techniques for this. Comfort food at its best. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. We have our Mediterranean inspired sliders here. We've pulled them off the pan and we've added some little wonton crackers here that we're gonna try out as buns and see how it goes. All right, we've got our caramelized onions. How gorgeous are these, right? So we've almost created an onion jam with this balsamic. We caramelized the onions, we added the balsamic, we reduced it down to a syrup. It's gonna add that nice sweet flavor that we are looking for. Let's build some burgers. We're gonna slice a little heirloom tomato here. I always recommend to use a serrated knife for tomatoes. It's gonna make the slicing go really smoothly. Maybe you have one that's 3 feet long, maybe you just have a normal one, whatever you have will totally work. We're gonna make nice thin slices here. Put it back together on our plates. fan it out to make it look nice. Gonna clean up as we go, as we always talk about. All right, we're ready to plate. We have all of our components here. We've got our nice, beautiful balsamic caramelized onions, our feta cheese, harissa paste. Let's build some burgers, what do you think? All right, we're gonna start with a couple of these grilled off whole wheat crostinis. We're gonna add some of our harissa. It's a mild harissa, just on the top. And some feta. And how about some onions on the bottom? Let's see what happens. Look how beautiful that is. Deep, dark, caramelized, rich. Got the balsamic in there. If that's not a slider fit for a king, I don't know what is. Let's try some with the wonton. Same approach here. We're going to add the onions, some feta, some harissa, our next patty. You know what? We almost forgot the tomatoes that we put so much work into. Pulled out the Crocodile Dundee knife to slice them. We didn't even put them on the plate. What are we doing here? Just a few on there. It's going to give the nice bright freshness that that plate needs. Just in case we didn't have enough plates, we're going to put it onto a fresh plate. This is why I said you don't build it on your serving plate. This is a great example. You've got little mistakes of happiness that happen all over the plate, and you don't want that on your final product. So we have a few different variations here. We have a whole wheat crostini, and then our little wonton cracker that we've made, and the balsamic caramelized onions, the feta, the harissa paste to go along with it as well. You're gonna love these. All right, now we're gonna make a peach and raspberry crumble. The peaches have just been macerated in a little sugar, so you can see they're pulling out some of their juice. And that's gonna make a nice little sauce. Add a little bit more sugar there. Some raspberries, and then some vanilla bean. This is just pure vanilla bean paste. Not an extract. You can see the actual little beans in there. Let's put it into the dish and see what happens. All right, let's make our crumble topping. So a crumble can be any sort of seasonal fruit. Basically, you're just gonna add a little bit of oats, maybe some nuts, maybe some spices, bake it on the top. And when we come back, we're gonna put it on there, throw it in the oven, 350, 35 minutes, see how it goes. Stay tuned. All right, so let's build our topping. So a crumble is just some seasonal fruits you have lying around, super rustic dish, and some oats. We're gonna go onto the topping, throw them all in the party. We also have a little flour here, and that's just gonna help it to set. You don't need much, right? So just 2 ounces by volume. We're gonna add some nuts. In this case, we have some pistachios, hazelnuts, and almonds. And then we have a little mixture. We have some ground ginger and nutmeg. Smells great. All right, we're just gonna give this a nice mix here. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. You could totally add some melted butter here if you wanted to. We're keeping our calorie count down because we already had those lamb sliders. We got to keep the dad bod where it needs to be, not let it get it out of control. Need to add some salt. Almost forgot the most important piece to the whole puzzle. What are we doing here? All right, let's add it to the top. All right, how good does that look? So we've got the peaches, the raspberries, the vanilla, touch of sugar, and the oat crumble on the top. We're gonna put this into the oven, let it bake 350, 30 minutes later. We're gonna pull it out. It's gonna be nice and golden brown. You could serve this as it is on a plate, maybe a scoop of ice cream, who knows? Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're gonna make a caramel sauce to go with our peach crumble. Caramel sauce is super easy. We're gonna add some sugar, and actually we're gonna add a little bit of water in the pan. And that's literally a few drops there, nothing major. And you may say, what does the water do? What does the water do? Well, so that's gonna evenly distribute the heat, so we don't have one burn spot and the rest is still raw. And so I want to talk about what things do when you add heat to them. Nothing better of an example than that than a caramel sauce. If I were to ask you to describe sugar, how would you describe it? Sweet, right? Not too much more that you could use to describe it. Granular, your doctor doesn't love it, you know, whatever. In terms of flavor, it's sweet, that's about it. Now when we take this same sugar and we add nothing other than heat to it, and we make caramel sauce, which is what we're doing now, how would you describe caramel sauce? Maybe bitter, smoky, complex, rich. And so just by adding heat alone, we've created this entire new product. And so that's a very similar approach that we use when we pan-sear a steak. You've heard the term caramelizing onions or searing a steak. We are caramelizing the natural sugars and the proteins of the steak or in the onions or what have you to create that same effect. All right, while it's here, don't touch it. Don't do anything to it, just let it do its thing. It's a beautiful process to watch. It goes from the white crystalline form of the sugar and then it turns a little bit clear. That's how you know you're almost ready. Sugar goes from 0 to 100 real quick, so stand there, keep an eye on it, and you don't want to swirl it or anything because it's going to slosh up on the side of the pan, and the side of the pan is going to get much hotter than the middle of the pan and will burn. So now that it's liquid, we can swirl it a little bit, and we've got some heavy cream here to stabilize it at room temperature. So if we were to take this sugar, heat it up, and then cool it back down, we would have made candy. It's gonna turn hard, brittle at room temperature. And so by adding this cream, it's just gonna stay liquid at room temperature. And we're also going to add a little bit of whiskey. You could use some scotch, some brandy, any spirit of your choice, and that's just going to give that more depth to the dish, make it extra nice. All right, we're getting close here. You can see the edges are just starting to brown. All right, so now we have our sugar that has caramelized. We add our cream. Nice facial going on there. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. So now, just by adding the heat, we've got a nice smoky flavor coming off, a nuttiness that you can pick up. All right, let's add our booze. And now we're going to add a little butter, right? And so that's gonna turn it from a caramel into a butterscotch. And a little pinch of salt. Salted caramel is totally a thing, super delicious. Now, how do we know when it's ready, right? The $1 million question. We talked about the nappe consistency the other episode, where we basically want to be able to coat a spoon, run our finger across the back side of the spoon, and it creates a streak. And as long as the streak stays there and it doesn't run away, we have nappe consistency and we're ready to go. All right, let's take it off of the heat. Let it cool down just a bit before we add our butter so it doesn't separate. You can see that beautiful golden brown caramel deliciousness. And just a little butter. It's an emulsification, so we want to make sure we swirl it in. All right, it doesn't get much better than this. This is the stuff that dreams are made of, stuff that you remember from your childhood. And here we go. We're just going to scoop it. We've got all that nice texture from the oats. Let me grab another spoon so I don't boil my hand. We're gonna bring the plate over to here, down. A few more peaches on the side so you know what it is. Give it a little wipe. And the cognac butterscotch sauce. There we go, we're calling that good. We still have some of the negative space down in there. You can see how it really makes it pop. There we go. That is our raspberry peach crumble with our cognac butterscotch sauce. Grab a spoon, dive in. All right, thanks for tuning in today. We took you through some of my childhood favorites. We had our little Mediterranean sliders, and then this peach crumble with some oats, almonds, pistachios, a little cognac caramel sauce. I've been waiting all day to try this. Here we go. So we're gonna get some of that nice peach in there, some of the caramel sauce, all in one bite. You've got the crunch from the almonds. There we go. That'll take you right back. Stay tuned for the next episode.